Hi everyone, this is Karen Hightower, design team member over at Stamp TV for Gina K Designs. Yesterday I was doing a little color therapy and I was playing with my Zig Color Real Brush markers, and I had a couple of requests for a video on this, so I thought I would share this with you. I use this beautiful daffodil image that comes in this stamp set, Sending Love by Gina K Designs. I also will be using the Moonlit Fog Gina K Designs Premium Dye Ink to stamp the image. And I'll show you everything I'm using and tell you about it as I go along, okay? I am going to be using the Bristol Smooth Surface paper. It's not a watercolor paper, but it works really good with the Zig markers. And I picked it up at a big box store with a 40% coupon. So let's get started. I'm going to set the card over here and I'll show you how I did this. I wrote a list of all the markers I'll be using. I may use them all, I may not. I've already mounted this beautiful stamp, and I'm going to stamp it in Moonlit Fog real quick. And I'm going to stamp it off before I stamp it on here, because I want it to look like a no-line coloring. So I'll just stamp it off. I'm going to stamp it up here. And then I'm going to stamp it on the paper. And I'm going to cut this out probably in a round die. Okay, so you can see it. It's real light. And it kind of fades away whenever you color over it. I'm going to start with the light green. I kind of do one leaf and then I do another leaf. I focus on one piece of the flower at a time, or one leaf at a time, not the whole thing. So I'm going to start with this one. The water brush, you can just go in and pull the color down. And I have paper towels over the side too to wipe my brush on. Even though it's a water brush, I have a tendency to wipe a lot of the water out of it because I don't like it real wet. And being this is not a watercolor paper, I think it does better if you don't add too much water. And then underneath the leaf is going to be darker than on top. And see, the ink just moves around really nicely. Okay, we're just going to do a little coloring, and this is very therapeutic. This is what I did yesterday. Okay, I'm going to switch over to one of my paint brushes. I have a little bitty tiny paintbrush, and I just want to move a little bit of that color. You can stamp this also in yellow or a light green. I just have a hard time seeing some of the lighter colors. So that's why I chose the gray. And the gray will blend in really well. Also, when you're doing this, remember about shadows, about you're going to have a shadow where something lays on top of it, and you'll want your ink darker there. I'm going back to this little brush again. Like down here, it's going to be darker because there's a cast shadow over it. So everything leaves a shadow. If there's light, then you're going to have a shadow. But this is all you do, is you just color a little bit, add a little water, blend it around. Okay, I can't see my line real good. Let me look at the stamp set. Okay. And it's going to be lighter where it bends because the light is catching it. See on that? Then under here it'll be darker because of the shadow that's being casted over that with that leaf there. Okay, let me grab this die real quick and see Okay, so this is the main part I'm going to focus on. I love how the zig markers, you just put down a little color, and then as you pull it out, it just gets lighter and lighter. A bit. Sometimes when you stamp off, you can't see the lines real well, so just make sure it's something you can see, or make sure you have bright lights, and if you're like me, your glasses. Okay, let's switch over to our light brown. Okay, this petal here is behind this one, so I'm going to put a dark shadow here. And then when you do your lines, even though it's going to melt away with the water, you want to follow the curve of the flower, of the leaf. Okay, and you're going to let that dry. Move on to another one. And you can see in the stamp how it's got a lot of lines drawn in for you. So I'm going to be sure and put those lines back in. And remember, the more of the marker you put down, the darker your petal will be. I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to move over here to this one. I want this underside to be kind of dark. And you can go back and darken it. I'll go in here and do this. I'm wiping my brush off as I pick up some of that color. Let those dry a little bit. And just move the paint around the color. Let's add a little yellow, bright yellow. And you can see how it will just change that up just a little bit. Let me go over here. I'm going to grab this oatmeal, light oatmeal. Put a few little lines on there. These are going to have some green color to them. And I'll go back with the brown again and add those little lines back in that have disappeared. Okay, so let's do these. And then we'll do this one up here. Let's do, I want the inside of this to be light yellow. And I need a shadow underneath that along this. Just kind of smudge that little line out. See if I can grab a little of that ink. So I'll go back and add a little detail. And I'm going to do the inside of this one, this orange color. What's it called? Bright yellow. Okay, now see, we have to add some shadow to this edge because it's kind of lost. You can't really tell there's an edge there. So I'll do that, but I'm going to blend it out just a little bit. Let's try a little green gray. Just to add some darkness where those shadows will be. Okay, see in the illustration here, you can see all these lines. So I'm just adding a few of those in. Okay, I am going to go back and add a little more green. I hope y'all have enjoyed the video. I am going to make a card out of it. But the main thing I wanted to do was to just show you my take on coloring this beautiful daffodil image with Zig Clean markers. Okay, so I'm going to cut this out. I have the circle, double stitch circle die set. It's from Cottage Cuts. Gina carries them over in her online store. So I'm going to cut this out real quick, and then we'll put a card together. Come see us over at Stamp TV. Thank y'all for visiting, and you have a great day. Bye-bye.